Hey guys, welcome back to Toby Show, guys. I'm doing my usual multitasking from audio and visual. Anyway, today's episode's gonna be a little crazy. Excuse me. Well, you guys saw on my channel. I did a couple videos talking about gabbie hanna's new series, and that she did a video explaining her whole escaping nightmare. Anyway, recently Joey graceffa taking out the video, basically talking about how Gabbie was a nightmare to work with and stuff, which didn't really make Gabbie look good in light. And he was sharing his side of the story, and that the healthy foods that she was demanding that they provide for her set, she didn't even eat them, and all this stuff, and it was, it was not making her look good at all. And then Joey ended up saying something which I was shocked about, was that her manager was telling Joey, because Joey got in contact with him, letting her, hey, she has to be up a set for like the promo shoots and stuff, and she's being a nightmare, all this, and the producer that was giving her the time for the promo, she went off of them. It was really disrespectful and rude to them, called them the C word, which didn't really make Gabbie look good in the light. But Gabbie owned the fact that she did say in her video that she was not a good person. I mean, she was not a good person. Like, she was a bitch on set. And, I mean, she owns that shit. Then Gabbie, in a video, talking about Trisha Paytas. And the whole situation was that Trisha Paytas, like, gaslighted her, basically. And was... Anyway, you guys are not familiar. They had beef because years ago, Gabbie told a guy that Trisha was dating that Trisha had herpes, heard from one of Trisha's best friends, and anyway, all that shit that happened, and then Trisha felt so much about that, and Trisha made gazillion videos about Gabbie and all this shit. And then Trisha started, writing on the hate wagon of, hating Gabbie Hanna, even though it was making Trisha look like a bully and shit. And so anyway, all that shit happened. Anyway, Gabbie's video, she shows receipts that show that her and Trisha, they did have a friendship, even though Trisha once wanted to lie and said they were never friends, all this shit, and saying all this stuff didn't happen, even though Gabbie had receipts, and it didn't even make Trisha look, it made Trisha look bad. It made her look like a mean girl and a bitch. And it was like, if she didn't want to be friends with Gabbie anymore, she could, she could have gone about it differently. Instead of being a mean girl, she keeps making videos about Gabbie and stuff, and the situation, Trisha's in the wrong, because Trisha's gaslighting Gabbie and making fun of her mental health and her shit, which is crazy. When people do that to her, Trisha has a big ass fit, but Trisha is like, oh, well, and then, well, she's crazy, all this shit, and it's like, people say that about you get fucking mad and offended. Yeah. And so now I'm just like, what the hell, Trisha? And, Gabbie talked also in the video the fact that, when Trisha's saying that she was stalking her and she was scared for her life, that she was going to come in her house, all this crazy shit, and Gabbie's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not like that. And it just, I felt bad for Gabbie, I did, because Gabbie did nothing wrong, it was all Trisha. Yeah, it was. And it's what it is. She had her on a podcast trying to get them to make amends. It didn't really go anywhere. And yeah, and then of course Trisha wanted to make a stupid TikTok about the situation, defending herself, even though it's some bullshit. Trisha just needs to stop it and leave Gabbie alone and realize the damage is done. And there's a reason, and it's just Gabbie, there's a reason why Trisha don't have very many YouTube friends, because people get so sick of Trisha's shit. Trisha's always dishing it on people, but when people dish it on her, she has a problem with it, and it's really fucking annoying. And then Trisha came out with a new show on her channel called Enemies, where she talks about people that are her enemies that she has beef with, all this shit, which I thought was kind of ironic. And something else I thought was crazy, was Gabbie had talked about on her video about Trisha, was that Trisha has been copying Gabbie for years, and she's talking about, to the point that Trisha came out with a poem book after Gabbie came out with a poem book. Trisha's doing rock music just like Gabbie's doing rock music now. I don't know, this pattern that Trisha's copying Gabbie, and I'm starting to wonder if Trisha was like obsessed with Gabbie. And yeah, like I said, moving forward, if Trisha makes any more videos about Gabbie, it's like I ain't gonna watch them because I'm not trying to hear Trisha be just a mean girl, because life's too short to deal with mean people. Then, Lord help me. Then, that's all that shit. And then, side note, so I made a video talking about the situation, but I described it. So I guess I'll talk about it here on my podcast, because I got like 10 minutes left to go. So I guess I'll spill this little tea, I guess. So I had a conversation with one of my best friends, and what happened is I was friends with these two girls, and I stopped being friends with them because they're mean girls. They had a problem with all my friends, they were acting like they should that I should only be friends with them and no one else, kind of shit, which is really fucking pissed me off. Had me feeling a certain way. And so yeah, they made fun of one of my best friends and her family and shit, which I thought was fucked up. Which I told them, I was like, guys, that's not cool. Like, y'all are talking shit about her and her family. Like, that's not cool. That's a low blow. Like, yeah. And so, all that shit. And so, the final straw was I was over at Cheryl's hanging out with Cheryl, and I was bitch chatting with them, and they were like, just being bitches about me being friends with Cheryl because we had a falling out. And they were just like being like, why are you friends with her? She's not even really your friend. All this bullshit. And Cheryl heard some of it and she left the room because she got fucking mad. And I'm just like, I don't have time for that shit with people. Anyway, I cut off being friends with them. And then they fucking were telling me in high school. My other best friend, Steve, and they were telling me supposedly he was arranging for me to get jumped in high school. And I'm like, that sounds fishy. So I asked him, and he said it never happened. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And so I'm just like, I don't have time for this shit with people. I don't have time for this mean girl bullshit. I know. And it's just some people just never get out of high school being mean girls and bitches and shit. And so. Yeah, and so I don't have time for that. And one of them felt a certain way. They were like, why didn't you just run down and tell me this shit? And I'm like, because I didn't want to. Because I was like, I'm done. And then the other one, DeVille, I'm going to just call her as DeVille. I told DeVille why I don't fuck with her anymore on Messenger. And then DeVille went off of me, was threatening me and shit. And it was just showing how mature she is. And, I told her that, she's the biggest whore I know and shit. And then this bitch had the fucking nerve switching on me, telling me I'm the biggest whore she knows. And I'm just like, girl, bye. Really? I'm a big fucking whore. Girl, shut the fuck up. Like, boo-boo. Do you not hear yourself? It was all that shit. And I don't have time for it. I don't. Because life's too short. I'm not gonna spend the rest of my life going back and forth with ignorant people when nothing's gonna get accomplished. Yeah, no. And so I'm not friends with these girls. And DeVille had the nerve to fucking tell my ex that I gave her a Bible full of lies. And I'm like, what is this bitch talking about? And she's just trying to get me to go off of her ass. And I'm like, am I doing this shit? No. And the situation was and then all that shit. Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm not doing it. And those girls are never going to go out of high school, and that's just the way it is. And I don't have time for that shit. I don't, because life's too fucking short. It is. I've recently, I had an uncle recently pass away, and then on top of all that shit, my uncle's ex-wife was being crazy as hell at his funeral and shit, to the point that my mom felt disgusted with the fact that she wanted to bring her 17-year-old boy to Michael's funeral. Like how disrespectful, and she had this collage and shit. Pictures of them, and she's acting like a grieving widow and shit, like she loved him and shit, which she didn't really love him anymore because, yeah, and she just became all about greed and money and stuff, and now it's sad. And like, I got that shit and the stuff with Cheryl's mom passing away, and I'm gonna be able to hang out with her this weekend because that's one of my best friends. And it's like, yeah. And you know what sucks is that my other best friend Carolyn, she lost her dad like last year, and I wanted to be there for her, but I didn't have money for a ride down there and stuff, so I just sent her money, cash app and shit. And I'm gonna go see her when I go down there the last weekend of August, Granbury. But like I said, yeah, life's too short. Like I don't have time for that shit. I don't, and I'm gonna be there for my friends, my true friends, and that's what I have to say. But yeah, the whole Gabbie Hanna situation. Gabbie, she's fucked up in the past. She owns it. I mean, I do love Escape from Night. It's not if I ever do rewatch it, I'm gonna be looking at definitely know that Gabbie was a nightmare to work with on that show. And then Joey's ex Daniel's gonna make a video about Gabbie, so I'll give you guys my input on his video. But as of right now, like I said, I got what Gabbie was saying about her experience with Escaping Night. I got what Joey was saying. But the whole Trisha and Gabbie situation, I'm Team Gabbie. Like, Trisha just needs to grow the fuck up and stop and trying to gaslight people. Because if someone's doing the shit she's doing to Gabbie, she has to fit. And that's not cool. And it's just, because there's popular hate on Gabbie, and that's why Trisha's doing that shit. Which is not cool. Which, yeah, it's like me. Like, I was gonna start trolling and shit, but I changed my mind because I'm gonna fuck that. Because if I start trolling in a couple of years, I'm gonna change my mind, and then I'll be like, I'm not like that anymore, and I'll be like, why the fuck did I do that? Like, that's not how I am as a person. Yeah, no, it's like this. Internet, I gotta be careful what I put out on my YouTube channel because I've had people feel a certain way about when I start being friends with people. They feel a certain way about me, doing videos about them, even though we're not friends anymore. I'm like, it is what it is. Yeah. So yeah. Guys, that's all I have to say. Hope you guys enjoy the show, and peace.